Aam Aadmi Party netas there constantly chanting the same slogan that this is intimidation tactics, this is the way to arm twist the opposition, this is tanashahi, nothing but dictatorship. You have the Aam Aadmi Party saying this right from the start, even till today, maintaining the same tone that this is the BJP trying to control the central agencies, and central agencies they are implicating any threat that comes in the way of the BJP. And you see Atishi, you see Saurabh Bharadwaj, senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party there in an all-out protest, condemning this arrest of Manish Sisodia, calling him innocent. Now, even before the CBI could complete its investigation in the case, you have the Aam Aadmi Party saying that he is innocent, he is being targeted. How fair is that? Pooja Shali also stays with us on that. Pooja, my question to you earlier was, if it's Manish Sisodia now, will it be Arvind Kejriwal next? And shouldn't the Aam Aadmi Party and its supporters at this point have a little patience, have some faith in the central agencies to allow them to do their duty? They are investigating and probing corruption. All of us want a corrupt-free country, at least corrupt-free politicians. Should they not wait until the investigation is over before they kick up a storm?
Interesting questions you've asked, Nabila. So, your first question that what about Kejriwal now? Could the agencies be landing at his door? For now, he could be in the clear because Arvind Kejriwal holds no portfolio in the Delhi government of the Aam Aadmi Party. The maximum portfolios were held by Manish Sisodia, Satyendra Jain. Two serving ministers currently have been taken into arrest on different charges. But also now, of course, those portfolios will go to other ministers. Whether Arvind Kejriwal takes some of those crucial portfolios, that remains to be seen. But for now, he does not have any direct profile that perhaps any agency can trace to and say he's also been indulging in corrupt practices. But Aam Aadmi Party, of course, has been stating because Arvind Kejriwal is the main challenger to the Bharatiya Janata Party and to Narendra Modi for 2024. That's why the agencies have been brushed against him, and this is they are calling a political vendetta. But coming to another question about the protest, Aam Aadmi Party, since I've covered from day one, since the Anna Andolan, banks on creating a show of strength, creating a showdown when they are in the dock. They are not a party or its workers to sit in the back, be defensive, or perhaps wait for any conclusion. They'll be right at the forefront.
I'm going to cut across to Amit Bharadwaj, our correspondent right inside the Aam Aadmi Party office, where we believe a showdown has occurred. You have Amit tracking those images for us. Let me cut across. Through those images, we see the chants there, BJP Murdabad, Tanashahi Murdabad. This is the taunt that AAP has been giving from day one. What's new?
Well, Nabila, the action that is happening in the AAP office is because, you know, there are allegations that Delhi police officials tried to enter the Aam Aadmi Party national headquarters. And after that, all these AAP workers have, assembled and are raising slogans against Delhi police. I'm joined by Saurabh Bharadwaj right now. Was there an attempt to enter the AAP office by Delhi police?
I think it is very shameful. This is so unfortunate. This is totally illegal. We are sitting within the premises of the Aam Aadmi Party office. This is our legitimate office. Our volunteers are sitting here, and the Delhi police entered this office and tried to pick up our volunteers and put them under the jail.
Were volunteers detained from the party office?
Look, there are almost hundreds of volunteers who have been taken away from our party office, and they have been taken to the police station in Ashok Vihar, Fatehpur Beri, different parts of Delhi.
This new bawal which started, was it because the Delhi police entered the party headquarters?
Yes, without any provocation, without any reason, Delhi police with hundreds of policemen and rapid action force barged into our office, and they tried to just, take away our volunteers. This is unheard of.
So, Nabila, you just heard Saurabh Bharadwaj saying that, Delhi police tried to barge inside the national headquarters of the Aam Aadmi Party, and right after that, this bawal had started in the national headquarters of the Aam Aadmi Party. Atishi is also joining us right here. So, you could see, you have Adil Khan, Atishi, Saurabh Bharadwaj, all the Aam Aadmi Party senior leaders who have come in front in order to protect the party workers. This hangama that you are seeing unfolding at the party office is because there was an attempt by Delhi police jawans to enter. That's what in the party headquarters. That's what the Aam Aadmi Party leaders are claiming. Nabila, the fact is that all these workers were silently protesting inside the national headquarters of Aam Aadmi Party, but suddenly the ruckus and hangama started. When we came here, we realized that there was an attempt possibly to enter the Aam Aadmi Party office. That's what Aam Aadmi Party leaders are saying. You just heard Saurabh Bhardwaj saying that this is unprecedented action which took place. And now because of this, you have angry Aam Aadmi Party workers and senior leaders of the party protesting at the national headquarters of the Aam Aadmi Party. And remember, a few meters from here is the Rouse Avenue Court, where Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia was produced in the excise policy case. So clearly, the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Marg has been converted into a war path of sorts today, where you had for at least 2 to 3 hours Aam Aadmi Party workers protesting, getting detained, trying to break the barricades, and after that a peaceful protest was taking place at the party Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. And a few minutes back there was an attempt as being claimed by AAP leaders, senior leaders, that Delhi police tried to barge in order to detain the AAP workers, and that's when this hangama, this bawal started. Back to you, Nabila.
At this point, it's unlikely that this kind of pressure and pile up by the Aam Aadmi Party netas will really have any significance on the court's order or its verdict now. Do we have Nalini still with us? If I could go over to Nalini. Nalini, this kind of pressure that we see mounting by the Aam Aadmi Party, where they're really trying to unleash this narrative saying that Manish Sisodia is innocent, he's being targeted, this is vindictive, etc. Central agencies are used by the BJP to try and intimidate them. Will this hold any bearing in court's views as arguments are presented by the CBI? Will they look at this as a threat at all, that Manish Sisodia going in or being arrested will cause law and order and therefore he should be granted bail?
Well, Nabila, one important thing to remember is that any sort of political argument is going to hold any ground with the court of law. The special CBI judge M.K. Nagpal, who is hearing the case, has clarified right at the very beginning that he wants to know about the specific allegations regarding the Delhi excise policy scam against Manish Sisodia, under what grounds Manish Sisodia has been arrested. Now, what Manish Sisodia's team is claiming is that just because Manish Sisodia is not giving the answers that CBI wants to hear does not mean that he is not being cooperative in this entire case, because that is the main allegation that is being leveled by the CBI. That is the main ground under which that they've arrested him, saying that he is not cooperating and he is not giving us the direct answers. But Manish Sisodia's legal team's justification and defense for that is that not giving the answers that the CBI wants does not mean that he is not cooperating. He is duly appeared, he's sitting there for as long as they want, he's allowed them to question him as strenuously and as strictly as they want, and at the same time Manish Sisodia has been fully cooperative. He's allowed them inside his home, inside his offices, whatever digital devices that they were asked for, he's handed it over to them. He's allowed them to go through his digital devices. After this, the CBI to come forth and say that he's not being cooperative only means that the CBI is not getting what they want to hear, and it is on the basis of that they are saying that. But at the same time, another very important thing that the CBI is saying is that Manish Sisodia might have the possibility of tampering with evidence in this case, because he is at such a high position within the Delhi government that he might have access to certain documents that the CBI has still not seized, because of which there is a possibility of evidence being tampered. Now, that is a very strong ground for the court to go ahead and grant custody of any accused, because evidence tampering is something that the court will look at very, very seriously. So if the CBI is able to make out even a weak case on evidence tampering, there is a possibility that the court might give at least few days of custodial remand to the CBI so that they can interrogate him further and get to the bottom of some things. But at the end of that custody, the CBI will have to come forth with some concrete evidence against Manish Sisodia and bring facts to the court on what they have really investigated during this time that they had Manish Sisodia's custody for. Now, they've asked for 5 days of custody. It might
might not be possible that this court will allow 5 days itself. They might allow for 3 or 4 days. It remains to be seen exactly how things pan out, because both the sides are leaving no stone unturned in putting forth their case. Where Manish Sisodia is also being battled by legally.
I'd like to ask you here, Nalini, a quick word from you. We believe that that Manish Sisodia's counsel, as they're arguing in court for his bail, have presented this point that it's a state subject. Excise liquor policy, of course, is a state subject, and this was presented before the Delhi LG for his recommendation and suggestions as well. It's not been implemented, it was scrapped, but it was certainly put forth by the Delhi government to ensure responses from all quarters, at least all stakeholders. So where was Manish Sisodia or the leadership wrong?
Yeah. That's exactly, Nabila, that's precisely what Manish Sisodia's lawyers are arguing, because they are saying that this is a draft that was presented before the LG's office and it was signed off by the constitutional authority himself, who did not at that time point out any changes that he would like to make to this policy. But at the same time, Nabila, another thing that we have to remember is that only the final draft would have been placed before the LG's office. The final draft of the liquor policy would have been placed before the LG's office for his approval. What the CBI instead has done is that the CBI has gone back to the first draft that was originally created for this excise policy, and they've tried to locate the differences between what was the first draft and what was the final draft and what was the final outcome of this liquor policy. And what they've seen is that there are certain very contentious provisions that were part of the final draft but were not part of the original draft. Now that original draft might not have gone to the LG at all, so he would not possibly had the foresight to see that there is a significant difference in what was initially discussed and what was ultimately the outcome, which the CBI has been able to point out. And it is on the basis of this that the CBI has arrested him under Section 7 of the Prevention of Corruption Act. Now what they are trying to pinpoint, and the reason why they want his custody, is they're trying to get to the bottom of the fact of who exactly was responsible for these changes that were brought into this draft policy. Now, of course, they've gone to Manish Sisodia directly because he was the head of the department, of the excise department at that time, and he was the one who was in the know-how of all of the things that were happening regarding the excise policy, and also the person who was signing off on this excise policy.